FTX drama is here. I'm sure you've heard about it. This is part 2 to my earlier video where I was talking about the drama happening with FTX. There's some conspiracy theories. There's a lot of involvement between people from Jane Street Group, Goldman Sachs, MIT, the Justice Department. It's super duper fishy. So check out the first video if you haven't had a chance, but this is the second part where I'm kind of reading out some conspiracy tweets. Most recently, they talked about how SBF, the CEO of FTX, said every Ukrainian with an FTX account gets $25. Then the Ukrainian government basically links with FTX with their National Bank of Ukraine. Former president of FTX, Brett Harrison, came from Jane Street Group, where he was the head of trading systems tech for 7 years. Brett then went to Ken Griffin's Site Securities, where he was the head of semi-systematic tech during the great GameStop short squeeze. According to an email from Amanda Fisher, SBF, Mark Wetjen, and Ryan Miller met with Gary Glinser to discuss conditional no action relief. In other words, to get out of jail free card. At the time, senior counselor Amanda was appointed chief of staff. But let's bounce back to Citadel Brett for a second. Brett Harrison left FTX more than 2 months ago. 5 days before Brett stepped down from president of FTX, he announced a strategic partnership with GameStop. Hella fishy. From June 2019, the anatomy of fake cryptocurrency trade, how exchanges create phony transaction, an article stated. A new report from Alameda Research reveals a clever set of tricks used by crypto exchanges to fabricate volume. FTX was launched less than 1 month later. Messages between Elon Musk, William McCaskill, which is FBF, the CEO of FTX, that's his basically his mentor, and Morgan Stanley banker Michael Grimes, shows that McCaskill, I'm not saying this right, so I'll say his first name, Will tells Elon that SBF has interest in buying Twitter and making it better for the world. Grimes seems pushy for an investment. Elon is not interested. That's not the artist Grimes. It's Michael Grimes from Morgan Stanley. 2 months ago, FTX bought 30% of Skybridge from former White House Director of Communications, who is a big advocate and investor in a point-of-sale cryptocurrency network created by MIT faculty members in 2017. 3 years ago at MIT FinTech Beyond Crisis seminar, Gary Glinser admitted to working with someone, praising someone else as capable of hosting Uber on-chain. Since joining the SEC, which is the U.S. Government Department of Exchange and Commerce, Gary Glinser has been critical of other point-of-sale blockchain networks. Well, no duh. Current girlfriend of SBF is the chief operating officer of FTX. Prior to her time at FTX, she was a risk manager at Credit Suisse. I've heard that name already on this thread. And she worked on private banking. It's safe to say Constance, the girlfriend, did a terrible job at managing the risk. On April 2022, FTX and SALT Conference hosted the first ever crypto conference in the Bahamas. An off-record panel was held featuring former U.S. President Bill Clinton, former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, SBF, the head of FTX. Other notable speakers included Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen, who had $650 million tied up in FTX. This is so fishy. Around 383 million worth of tokens have been recently moved from FTX wallets to unknown locations. Some folks believe it's a hack or an insider attempt to make a move. Could just be a part of bankruptcy proceedings. The story is still developing. The potential hack began at the same time FTX made a tweet about Chapter 11 filings. Ryan Miller just shared a tweet saying they are investigating the abnormalities with wallet movements related to the consolidation of FTX balances across the exchange. Is this an inside job? This Ryan Miller guy was often seen on the campaign trail in 2020 with his girlfriend, Michelle Bond, who was running as Republican for New York Congress. Michelle is a senior counselor for the SEC during the Obama presidency, then became head of global regulatory/policy at Bloomberg. Locals were very skeptical. It's looking a bit obvious that the political contributions were made to offset the massive Democratic donations from SBF and FTX, to spark the illusion that there was a balance of political donations coming from FTX. Just in case you have doubt that Glenn Ellison is actually the father of Caroline Ellison, the head of Alameda Research, which is the company that FTX was giving assets to. Glenn writes math textbooks used in elementary schools and curriculums for MIT. Glenn was even a coach for Caroline's school math team. Let's go a bit deeper at MIT. MIT Digital Currency Initiative was created in 2015. The former director of MIT's Media Labs was directly funded by Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates, forcing Joy Ito to resign amidst the scandal. Let's see what's happening at Coinbase. Board of Directors member Katie Hoan had an extensive career at the Justice Department before becoming partner. During her time at the Justice Department, Katie was once told to take down Bitcoin and monitor all major tax litigations. In an interview SBF at the SALT conference earlier this year, Katie says she was taught by both SBF's parents while attending Stanford. She goes on to say that she has known SBF since he was a child. Katie, a media darling, has launched her own $1.5 billion venture firm earlier this year, backed by Coinbase. The firm is loaded with former Biden, Clinton, Google, and Facebook staffers and is heavily focused on ushering in a new era of cryptocurrency regulations. Most have probably never heard of the crypto company Securrency. Securrency, HQ'd in DC, was founded back in 2015 by former MIT grad and CIO Dan Downey. Dan won an award for top government change agent a year before launching Securrency, a company focused on regulation technology. Remember Michelle Bond, the Rhino congressional candidate and co-CEO of FTX? Michelle has been an advisor at Securrency since 2019. She is currently CEO at Digital Assets Market and is the former global head of government relations at Ripple. Oh my gosh, this is so dirty. It was reported by the Postman and The Block that FTX official was buying up residential real estate near its HQ in the Bahamas. FTX spent $74 million this year on various properties. $68 million went to entities surrounding the luxury condo resort, Earlier today, Ryan Miller made a tweet thread with a statement from John Ray, CEO of FTX. Enron John says FTX is still securing assets and confirms unauthorized transactions occurred last year. Ray says that they are working with law enforcement. Reports of police at HQ. Back to the MIT Digital Currency Initiative, ex-president of MIT Bitcoin Club, Metallic James, does CBDC research for the Boston federal government. James graduated from MIT and later worked at the MIT Media Labs. He's been at the Federal Reserve for 4 years working on Project Hamilton. SBF spent time in the Middle East desperately trying to raise capital in late October, holding meetings with Saudi Arabia's Sovereign Wealth Fund and Abu Dhabi's Mubadala investment codes, according to people familiar with the matter. 2 days ago, FTX made a tweet saying they begin withdrawing Bahamian funds and to comply with regulators. SCB government from the Bahamas made a statement today stating FTX did not have authorization to withdraw these funds. The FTX tweet was a lie. It looks like insiders may have made an exit. Earlier this year, CFTC Commissioner Caroline Palm met with SBF and FTX, also with Caroline, the head of Alameda Research. They shared a rather FTX favorable tweet with a photo of the three. She later deleted the tweet after being accused of cozying up. Mark Winton, who I mentioned tons in the last two videos, deactivated his Twitter account recently. Political donations from FTX official played a significant role in the recent elections. It wasn't just Republicans that were upset about it. Rival Democrats running up against FTX-funded candidates filed election complaints, including Matt West against Carrick Flynn in Oregon. Oregon is a big theme there. Let's look into Carrick Flynn to see why FTX official was so interested in donating. Carrick's wife worked with an effective altruism foundation while SBF was director in 2017. SBF's brother Gabe is also a big fan of Carrick's views on the pandemic. That explains it. It's been recently discovered that Caroline, the CEO of Alameda Research, had a Tumblr account titled World Optimization. Oh my gosh, where she literally had a kink for powerful government officials. The account is no longer active, but when Google's searching, the title appears fake charity nerd girl. I actually pulled off a screenshot from it. So Caroline has a Tumblr called World Optimization. It says, here's a post from her secret Tumblr. It says, nothing against this post in particular, but it reminds me that I find it amusing how boy positivity posts on Tumblr always end up taking this cute, infantilizing tone that elides what is actually attractive amount of men. Here are what I think are some of the cute boy things. Controlling most major world governments, being responsible for many important inventions and scientific discoveries, spatial reasoning abilities, low risk aversion, sufficient strength. Ooh. My cat just knocked over the screen. Back to what Caroline thinks is cute boy things. Spatial reasoning abilities, low risk aversion, sufficient strength to physically overpower you. If you are a boy who is driven to succeed at ambitious goals, you are valid. If you are a boy who arrives at opinions through logical reasonings, you are valid. If you are a boy with confidence to advocate for unconventional ideas and take actions based on them, you are valid. Another post from her. When I first started my foray into polyamory, I thought it was a radical break from my traditional past. But to be honest, I've come to decide the only acceptable style of poly is best characterized as something like imperial Chinese harem. None of this is non-hierarchical bullshit. Everyone should have a ranking of their partners. People should know where they fall on the ranking, and there should be more vicious power struggles for the higher ranks. Wow, this chick definitely has this weird kink, and based on her secret Tumblr, I think we all should have this similar suspicion that there's this weird collusion between the major banks of America that, by the way, the US government bails out every time we have a problem. So we have the major banks of America, we have the SEC, the US government Department of Securities and Commissions, we have major universities like Stanford and MIT involved, and then you have these crypto companies. Clearly people that are involved in regulating crypto have been involved in FTX, and it doesn't really seem like FTX just collapsed out of nowhere. There's a lot of collusion going on, but this is just a conspiracy. I don't know anything. I'm just entertaining you, my viewers, and people who work in the tech industry with this crypto drama. I do think that getting a job in crypto is definitely going to change. There's a ton of blockchain engineers out there who are applying for jobs regularly that have nothing to do with crypto. If you work at a crypto company, I would be kind of shaking in my boots if I were you. Please subscribe to my channel so that you can find a way to get a job if your crypto company ends up filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Let me know your thoughts on the conspiracy below. Thanks for watching this video. Please, the demigods of the internet, please don't attack me or flag this video. I only have 200 subscribers, so I don't deserve any hate until I at least have 200,000. But I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.